Let's move into the startup scene with Nils Wollny, co-founder and CEO of Holoride. Nils, in your role at Sinnerschrader and later as head of digital business at Audi, transformation and implementing change was basically your home turf. And now you are CEO of your own company and you're really challenged with handling constant change. Right now, there is a challenge that is actually putting a little pressure to all of us. So I'm talking about the pandemic, the coronavirus. How are you actually handling your business in these times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so first of all, I think there are two sides of impact that the coronavirus has. So first of all, I think the human impact is something you have to carefully look at because it's a real stress test for mental health, for collaboration, and also for corporate culture. And the second aspect, the business aspect for us, we plan to go to market in 2022. So in the meantime, we try to get as many people as possible to experience the tech you have just seen at live events, at trade shows, or simply invite them for demos. And this is quite difficult. So in the first aspect, I think we tried very, very hard that we didn't lose our corporate culture that we have established because we started our company in 2019, greenfield. So we really built it the way we wanted it to build.
How big is your team? Just give us
20 people. We are still a very lean team, so 2/3 approximately engineers. And it was very important for everyone to collaborate, be in the same room, feel the energy, because especially at the beginning, you do a lot of conceptual work, creative work, and you can't really do this remotely. So it was a big challenge for us. I think we managed this with team events we did virtually, but we were very, very happy when we could gather back. We went back to the office in July, kept the distance in our new space, of course. And now everyone can decide individually whether he or she would like to work in the office. And I'm happy to see that most people come back to the office now. And in terms of business, we really shifted everything to remote tech feasibilities we do with car manufacturers or content providers. So we simply ship our tech, do remote sessions to set it up, and then let them experience it firsthand and talk after how we can proceed.
So what would you say were the biggest challenges and what helped you master them?
I think one of the biggest challenges was to pull Holoride off because my two co-founders and me, we were all employees of Audi. We had this idea and we worked on this idea for Audi. And at a certain point in time when we did the evaluation of the concept, we figured it would make way more sense also for Audi to bring this to the market as a manufacturer-agnostic approach so that every OEM can participate. And I think that was the first hurdle because there weren't really any processes in place how you spin something off that had its inception within a corporate environment. And so that was definitely the biggest challenge at the beginning, but with a lot of, let's say, creative disobedience, we made this happen. And then there were subsequent challenges. I mean, when you look at corporate environments, many think of startups in kind of a romantic way. But
a romantic way,
they have this image. Everyone is wearing a hoodie.
A hoodie.
Of course, sneakers, and they have a great life out there. But honestly, there are tough times. There are even books about this. So I love the one, The Messy Middle, where you see that things can get tough. And so we have a lot of new hurdles to overcome now.
You said at the very beginning, Audi, of course, played a big role. How did you experience the ecosystem in Germany? Was there something special that helped you get along at the very first?
First of all, I'm super grateful, thankful that Audi made this happen because there were when we presented at CES in 2019, there were even articles around the fact that a car manufacturer, a German car manufacturer, is spinning out parts of its technology to make it available for all the other car manufacturers as well. So this is not very common. So this was a bold move, and obviously this happened in Europe. However, the technology we are working on, we see a lot more traction in the Asian regions, so China, Japan, South Korea, as well as the US. Maybe it's because of the nature that XR technology, so VR, AR, is more popular in those regions than in Europe yet. But yeah, we consider, even though we have our main office in Munich, we consider us as an international company. And yeah, so we like to work with all three regions equally.
So, because you are definitely my speaker with whom I could dive a little bit more into the Chinese and the US market, in terms of collaborating, in terms of getting to talk to people, getting investors, do you feel that there is a big difference?
Oh yeah, there is a huge difference. The good news is that Europe is definitely keeping up, and also Munich as a city is making fantastic progress in terms of startup landscape. I mean, you have everything you need basically here. However, if you look at the pure facts, for example, the investment landscape, in Europe last year there were like VC fundings in the amount of like $32 billion compared to the Asian region where you had like 62 or 63 billion dollars, compared to the US where you had like 113 billion US dollars invested into startups. And also if you look at the round size, and Europe is very strong in initial funding, seed funding, Series A, but many of the mega rounds you see in the Asian region or in the US region. And this leads to, from my perspective, towards a situation that can be pretty dangerous for Europe at a certain point in time. There is a statistic I love to look at. It's published by Dr. Holger Schmidt, who's looking at the platform index. He's looking at the 100 most valued platform businesses in the world. And Europe currently has a share of 2.7%.
Oh, wow.
So the majority is US and the Asia Pacific region. And even though we are keeping up, I think Europe still has a way to go. And I'm glad to see initiatives like maybe ours, so where corporate is spinning out startups and seeing definitely venture capital investment also rise in Europe. This is helpful. Regional differences, I mean, Germans, maybe Europeans tend to be a little bit more skeptic, and in terms of tech adoption, maybe also a little behind. In China or Asia, you have like high speed. I mean, everything is moving really quickly. And in the US, you have this openness, the freedom, a lot of inspiration. So I love to travel these regions. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's not possible. But I had many very inspiring conversations over there.
So you addressed the tech affinity of certain markets. If you're talking about testing your product and services, do you actually choose a certain market to really roll out, or how do you handle that?
No, we are testing our tech and get customer feedback and also partner feedback in all three regions.
Okay.
So we have set up a big event last year at the Universal Studios in Los Angeles, exactly during this time over Halloween in the US. We had several thousand people trying Holorides, and we received valuable customer feedback. We had several events at the Audi Driving Experience Center. We had them in Frankfurt during the IAA last year. Yeah, it was last year. Next year it will be Munich. And we even went to the CES Shanghai together with Audi, so to get some more feedback from Chinese customers as well.
What would you have done differently to ramp up the business faster? And the same question to Audi, what is your advice for a company to support future spin-offs?
Honestly, I wouldn't have done things differently because we're very much on track what we intended to do. As I said, we wanted to be ready in 2022. However, if there is one thing, maybe I would have started the company in the US first and then went back to Europe.
Why?
Just because of the speed and openness and being close to the content industry. But even this worked pretty well for us. We initially started here to be close to the German car manufacturers, but maybe this I would rethink again. I don't know whether the decision would be completely different.
How does your business model look like? Who pays for what? Is it a subscription model or pay-per-use?
Yeah, so we have a B2B2C business model. So for end customers, this will be a subscription model, but we share parts of the revenue with our content creators and, of course, the automotive industry.